Hi, welcome to my channel. I thought today I'd take a minute and talk to you, my viewers, about something that everyone has in common: their fears. Now, not everyone is afraid of the same things, not everyone has the same amount of fears as other people. Some people aren't afraid of anything, some people are afraid of everything. But I feel like if we talk about our fears, it makes us feel less alone in our fears. I know there are things that I'm afraid of that other people are afraid of, but I also know that there's things that I'm afraid of that I don't know if anyone else is afraid of. But I know I am. And if somebody else is, maybe they're watching this and they can feel less alone because of it. I did make a list because I have a really bad memory, first of all. So it makes it difficult to remember everything all the time. So I like to write things down sometimes. Some of the things on my list, like I said, are things that we're all afraid of. Like, I'm afraid of death. A lot of people are afraid of dying. It's something we all have to face because we all do die, but it's something that is inevitable. It's something you can't overcome. Yes, you can live a long, very long life till you're 112, but at some point you're going to die. We're not immortal. We're not gods. So it's up there. It's something I'm afraid of. I did have a near-death experience, or slightly near-death experience. So yeah, I am afraid of it. I am afraid of dying because I'm afraid of losing my loved ones or having them be sad because I'm gone. I'm afraid of what the afterlife holds. Things along that line, dying. I'm afraid of heights. Now, I say heights, but I've been on airplanes. I've been fine. Tall buildings, I'm all right. I think it's the more afraid of falling than afraid of heights. Because, like, step ladders are usually okay. I can stand on chairs most of the time. Taller ladders, trees. I one time freaked out in a Ferris wheel. I will say I was like 16, 17. So, whatever. But I did have that moment of, oh my God, we're going over the trees. Someone save me. So, yeah, heights, falling from said heights. I guess that all really ties into dying, causing myself injury. Like, I'm not afraid to get hurt. I've been hurt multiple times. I have, scars from burns, and I'm not afraid of getting hurt. It hurts, but dying, yes, dying in heights. I'm afraid of spiders. They freak me out a lot. Not a fan. People like to scare me with spiders. Not a fan. I've gotten a lot better with it as I've gotten older and realized that, as I live on my own and I'm an adult, I have to take care of some of that myself. One time when I was like 13, there was a spider on the stairs in my parents' basement. I was downstairs watching TV. I had to go to the bathroom. And I went to climb up the stairs and I saw the spider. And because I seen it, I couldn't climb up the stairs anymore. I couldn't even step over it. I literally had to go downstairs, use the house phone, and call my dad on his cell phone to come kill the spider so I could go to the bathroom. That's how bad I used to be. Now I kill them. I don't like if they're really big. I freak out. If I that's my stomach. If I see one and I go to get something to kill it and I can't kill it, then I freak out and I can't sleep in that room or sometimes that house. It's one of those, you see those memes, there was a spider, the house is now on fire. I took care of it. It's like that sometimes. But yeah, spiders, bugs in general, not icky, creepy, crawly, not a fan. I'm afraid of losing the ones I love. I think that's something everyone's afraid of. Your parents, your kids, your significant others, your friends, people who are important to you. I'm afraid of losing those people. My parents are getting up there in age, and it sucks to think about what could happen when they go. I do have 2 kids who I think about. I do have a lot of people in my life that I care about, quite a few specific ones that, I don't want to lose them, and I don't want to be without them. So I do fear that. That is a fear that I have, that I think other people do as well. This is one, the one I'm about to talk about is something that I don't think many people are afraid of. This is quite specific to experiences I've had as a woman, as things I've dealt with. I've had a near-death experience which involved my blood clots. So I'm on blood thinners. Being on blood thinners means I bleed easier, which, it's acceptable. I take, whatever. It is what it is. With that, I had an incident last year when I was on birth control, the Nexplanon arm implant. And with that and blood thinners caused me to have a lot of female problems. I'm going to be very blunt and gross. My period lasted for 6 months. It was ridiculous. I bled every day. I think the longest I went without bleeding was like 36 hours. But I've, nonstop, and it got worse and it got heavy, and I needed, a blood transfusion at one point because I bled so much. Because of that, I have a fear, and being on blood thinners makes my periods heavier. I have a fear of going to sleep and waking up in a puddle of my own blood. It makes me sleep a lot less when I'm on my period. I like to stay up later and, use the bathroom right before bed, and sometimes lay a towel down. Like, I legitimately do not want to ruin my mattress or my sheets. And it's something that scares me. I've literally stayed up at night thinking about it. But it's something I have to deal with. I think I'm handling it as best as I can. Not the greatest because I lose sleep over it, but it is what it is. I do what I can and I move forward. But with that, though, I don't know very many other people who have that fear, who are afraid of, going to sleep and then waking up in a puddle of their own blood. I will say, it sounds super brutal, and I am into death metal, but it's not something that I want to experience waking up to. I have woken up to messes and nasty, and I have bled on things. I know it's gross. I'm sorry if you're listening and you don't like that, but it's fact. And I've dealt with it, but I still don't want to do it. Referencing my list. Not being able to provide for my kids is something that I'm afraid of. Losing my job and not finding a new one, or, some sort of calamity happening where I can't take care of my children and be the mom I feel I can be or should be, because they're important to me. They're my children and I love them with all of my heart. And if I couldn't provide for them in any way, shape, or form, it would hurt me because they are so important to me. Being alone is a big fear. Not like alone, like I'm currently alone in my house, whatever. Alone as in lonely, maybe. I guess that one's a little hard to explain. Not having someone, not having family or friends or people who care about me, pushing them away is something I'm afraid of. That feeling of not having someone or something to even talk to or watch movies with or listen to, I'm afraid of that. I know it maybe sounds silly, but it's something that isn't easy to deal with. I have depression and I battle it every day. So having people in my life who I can talk to and who care about me is important to me. And losing that support and those people who care would devastate me. It would ruin a lot of things, and I don't really want to go through that. So yeah, I am afraid of losing the people in my life who matter to me and being alone because of that. I think that's all I have written out on my list. But I know I'm afraid of more things. I feel like if we talk about the things we're afraid of, we're not necessarily taking away the power the fear has, because I'm still afraid of spiders. I've talked about being afraid of spiders my whole life because it gives me the heebies. But I think if we can talk about it, it empowers us to realize what our fears are and to be able to tackle them or face them. Like being alone. I live alone, so being alone isn't an issue. Being lonely is. So finding ways to not be lonely is important, especially living alone. So being cognizant and aware of your fears is important. Being able to consider the possibilities because of them. Like, I know I'm afraid of spiders, so I like to keep tissues around should I need to kill one. Or I tend to kill them with Lysol, so it disinfects the area. I just spray them until there's a nice little puddle, and then I clean it up. And then they're dead, and I don't have to worry about it. Heights, I try to stay away from ladders. I've flown in planes, and I'm not afraid of that. I think, like I said, the falling, so I try not to fall. But with things like, losing my family or death, those are things you can't really, overcome. I mean, it's going to happen, and you're going to be afraid of it whether or not you want to or not, but being aware and knowing that it's not necessarily something you should be afraid of because it is inevitable. It is something that can happen. Looking at it from a perspective of this is what I need to handle is maybe a better way of thinking about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to ramble, and I'm sorry. I wanted to make a video about things I'm afraid of, and it always makes me wonder what could be or what couldn't be. And so I guess that makes me a little bit afraid of the future, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, I almost died, so you don't know when or how something like that could happen. So being afraid, it seems pointless at times to be afraid of things, even though I still am, and I know I still will be. It seems pointless. It seems silly to know that I'm afraid of a bug that doesn't really want to harm me, or I'm afraid of a height that really doesn't hurt. I'm afraid of things I can't control, like death. But I am afraid. So it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have fears. It's okay to know your fears. It's okay to confront them. It's okay to get over them if you can, like spiders or heights. But it's also okay to not get over them, like death and losing your family. Because no matter what we want to get over, some things just don't go away. Some things don't change. And knowing that and understanding that is important. I guess that's really all I want to say. Hopefully, if you have fears you can get over, you do. Don't be afraid of cotton candy or flowers. Don't be afraid of packing peanuts. Inanimate objects that can't hurt you. Be afraid of wasting time, wasting precious time that you could spend with the ones you care about and the ones you love, because no matter what, there is going to be an end to something like that. So spend the time with them and enjoy them while you can. And, the things that are specific to you, like waking up in a puddle of my own blood, it is what it is. You go forward and you deal with it. So deal with what you can, deal with what you can't, and understand that there is a difference in dealing with them. Maybe you guys could tell me some of the things you're afraid of. Maybe we share some fears. Maybe something you're afraid of I didn't even think about, and now I'm afraid of. Let's hope that's not true, because I don't really want to be afraid of more things. But feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. Because I'd like to know that other people out there are afraid of some of the same things I am. And that maybe we can all face it together. Have a great day. Bye.